Sources of vitamin A are dairy products, fruits and vegetables, meat, and much more. It is essential for healthy skin and immune system, normal vision, and reproduction. There are two different types of vitamin A, but we will only be looking at provitamin A in plant-based products. Provitamin A is a substance that can be processed inside the body, specifically our liver, to become vitamin A. As I mentioned earlier, vitamin A can be found in many foods, but this does not mean that all countries have access to enough food sources of vitamin A, and this is called vitamin A deficiency. VAD impairs the immune system of 40% of children under the age of 5 in the growing world, meaning that many children die because they contract deadly diseases. VAD also causes other disabilities, mainly loss of eyesight. As you can see on this map, Southeast Asia and Africa have extremely severe vitamin A deficiency. There are many efforts to resolve this issue, but the one that stands out is the Golden Rice Project. Golden rice is genetically modified rice, which includes beta-carotenes. Beta-carotene is the most common type of provitamin A and is also responsible for the strong red-orange color in some food, like carrots. It gives this GMO rice this golden color, hence the name golden rice. Before we continue, I'll answer this simple question. What is a GMO? Genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, are living organisms whose genetic material have been artificially manipulated in a laboratory through genetic engineering. This creates combinations of plant, animal, bacteria, and virus genes that do not occur naturally or through traditional crossbreeding methods.
Wild rice plants are already able to synthesize beta-carotene, and the process is fully active in their leaves, as they do contain a fair amount of beta-carotene. But this process isn't fully active in the grain of the rice that we actually consume. By adding only two different genes, beta-carotene will be able to accumulate in the grain. The first gene is a plant phytoene synthase, which is an enzyme involved in the synthesis of carotenoids, which are plant pigments responsible for the yellow, orange, and red hues in fruits and vegetables. This gene accelerates the process of creating phytoene, which plays a role in the synthesis of carotenoids. The second gene is a bacterial phytoene desaturase that completes multiple steps in the synthesis of carotenoids up to lycopene, which is a red carotenoid pigment. A plant requires more than one enzyme to do that, which is why it has been added. The product of the two different genes is lycopene, which would make the rice red, but recent analysis shows that endogenous enzymes in the rice processes the lycopene into beta-carotene inside the endosperm, therefore causing that distinctive golden tint in the rice, for which it is named after. These genes are transferred to the cells of the rice plant via Agrobacterium transformation. Agrobacterium tumefaciens and other related Agrobacterium species are a type of bacterium found in soil which infects a host plant and has the ability to transfer genetic information to the plant cells. A plasmid is a small circular DNA strand usually found in the cytoplasm of the bacteria. The Agrobacterium species, tumor-inducing plasmid, contains a tumor which contains a genetic information called tDNA. By removing some of the unnecessary genetic material in the tDNA and injecting the desired genes into the TI plasmid, the agrobacterium will infect the host plant, carrying its DNA with itself and integrating the DNA into the genome of the plant. Now, we move on to the impacts of science on economics. How much does a solution cost? The main cause for vitamin A deficiency is poverty, because foods containing a sufficient amount of vitamin A are not available to people because it's simply too expensive to purchase. The people behind the Golden Rice Project will make their product cost the same as their non-genetically modified counterpart. Considering its low price, it would be affordable for the poor. Does the problem affect employment opportunities? Vitamin A deficiency can cause many people to develop disabilities, blindness as an example, and contract diseases, increasing the infant mortality rate. The countries that suffer from vitamin A deficiency can develop an imbalance in employment, where there are more people in developing disabilities or dying, meaning that there will be less people qualified for jobs and less people in labor pools, leaving a smaller pool of potential employees for employers, affecting the employment opportunities negatively. What effect does the solution have on the local economy? As previously mentioned, if golden rice can reduce vitamin A deficiency, there will be more people that are qualified for jobs and more people for labor pools, also meaning that there will be an increased number of employee earning, which will lead to more consumer spending, benefiting local businesses that rely on sales to these consumers to pay and manage their businesses. Overall, more employees will mean that there is more money circulating that will allow the local economy to grow.
Now we will be looking at the strengths and weaknesses of golden rice. I'll start with the weaknesses. The fact that there is very little research on the negative impacts of golden rice on human health is a weakness, because if people are going to accept golden rice into society, it is necessary for it to be safe to consume. This creates a lot of misconception, but at the moment there is no evidence suggesting that GMOs are more harmful to us than non-GMO foods, and we can say the same for golden rice, as it has been approved by the FDA, who concur that it is safe to consume. Another weakness is that up to 25% of all the nutrients and vitamins in the rice are lost when it is boiled or cooked. Now for the strengths. Golden rice is still being improved. It is possible for it to become a better source of vitamin A, as it already happened before. There was Golden Rice 1 in the late 1990s, and in 2005 there was Golden Rice 2, which is capable of accumulating 31 micrograms per gram of beta-carotene, while Generation 1 of Golden Rice accumulated much less. If golden rice is successful, more opportunities will open up for the production of GMO crops, meaning more jobs needing to be filled in order to develop new GMOs that can solve other issues. To what extent does golden rice reduce VAD? Golden rice is still not available to the targeted people suffering from VAD yet, but by looking at this table, we can assume that golden rice can drastically reduce VAD, or at least in Bangladesh. Here we are assuming that an adult consumes 400 grams and a child 200 grams of golden rice daily. Vitamin A from golden rice alone exceeds the recommended daily nutrient intake for adult women. And I could say the same for children under 7 because we are only assuming that a child eats 200 grams of golden rice daily.
So what are the countries that could really benefit from golden rice? India? How about the Philippines? Do they eat it there?
All the tropical countries which eat rice, including Mexico, some South American countries, but primarily Africa and Asia.
Those countries would greatly benefit from golden rice because it is capable of being people's source of vitamin A, but sadly, we can only predict the success of golden rice if released. In conclusion, the positive consequences of the Golden Rice Project outweigh the negatives, and golden rice is a cheap and efficient solution to one of the most preventable causes of deaths and diseases, vitamin A deficiency. Thank you for your attention. See ya.